up, YouTube? Guess what I got? I got this. So it looks like, it's just a 500 series chassis. But it's so much more. This is by Cranborne Audio. It's the 500 ADAT, and as you can guess, it's got ADAT. It's also a summing mixer, an analog summing mixer. So let me walk you through this thing because I'm really excited. This is my first kind of thing. I got my first 500 series modules over there. I won't say what they are because I probably want to do a video for this. And as you can see, I have nowhere to put it because my rack is filled, and I have another unit that my monitor is on that really needs to be in a rack, and it's not. So I need to. I have another rack over there. I need to do some stuff. I have a whole lot of rewiring to do. Blah blah blah. So anyway, I will throw some audio through here and post that in probably a week or so because I have work I need to do, some mixes and some recordings. So. Anyway, let me talk about this thing because this thing is cool. So it has 8 slots for 500 series processing modules. It's supposed to have a good amount of power for that. I'll post the link. You can look at the specs. I know nothing about that stuff, and I care, but I don't. As long as it says it will power it, that's all I need to know. You might want to know more, so check it out. So not only does it do that, it also, for each slot, is a channel, and it becomes a mixer. So this is your volume here, right? Your level, input. I don't know. No, it's not input. It's your output level after your module. I'll talk more about the signal path in a second. So your modules, your level for each module, for each slot, and then also pan. Now this is really loose, like compared to other stuff, well, this is stepped, so that's not a fair comparison. But okay, this is not, and it's just got some resistance. So when you do fine movements, it's, you actually feel it. And this is, it's really loose. So just be careful, right? You can easily touch this and bump it. Panning has a dent at center, which you would expect, and then it's got these little switches here. I'll talk about those later, but the cool thing is you can link the channels. So if you want to throw one input in and have a preamp, an EQ, a compressor, and then one output out, right? Because you can link them, send this channel to this one to that one. And I'm not sure, honestly, if that is before the mix or after. I guess it doesn't matter. I guess it would be before. I didn't pay attention to that detail because for my application, that doesn't really matter to me. But I'll talk about the signal path a little bit later. Now over here, there are 2 headphone outputs. So you can, and then because there are there's an aux input, you can blend that with your mix and maybe have something out from your DAW plus something else, and then you can mix them together and blend the level and send those to the headphones. So I think that's how that works. I'm honestly probably not even using this either. I'll talk about what I'm going to use it for in a second, but let me turn this around so you can see. This is okay, so here are your direct inputs and then your direct outputs. So this will feed into the 500 series module and then out before it gets to the summing mixer that I talked about, right? 8 channels into 2, right? And then you also have an insert that goes after the 500 series before the output, so you can insert, whatever modules I have here, I can kind of send something, insert like a compressor into one of them too. And then over here is your mix output. So the summing that you do on the front, you sum those, it goes into a 2-channel analog output. So, and then you've got 2 aux inputs, stereo inputs that you can mix with those knobs I showed you on the front. So that's that. I'm not going to get into too much of this. I'm really, my I'll talk about my use. But you've also got these Cat 5 kind of plugs here. This is for Cranborne's proprietary cast linking, so it's not Dante, even though it looks like it might be, or AVB like Motu's system, which are all different but all use the same thing. This is not that. This is Cranborne's linking and audio paths, this audio stream system. So I won't be using that because I don't have another Cranborne. But if I did, I would, because it's fast and it takes a lot of channels. Okay, so the big thing here is you can see there's a world clock. You only need a world clock if there's a digital component, which there is. So obviously the ADAT in the name means that there's ADAT. So there are 8 channels here. You could either use one set if you're doing 44.1 or 48K, right? If your sample rate, or for higher sample rates, you would use both pairs, right? You would use the pair of ins and the pair of outs to go in and out from your interface, all right? So it's a 500 series chassis. It's an analog 8:2 summing mixer, and it's a ADAT processor, right? Analog, digital, digital to analog. It will take the channels and put them here and send them back out. So that's a pretty cool thing. I mean, as you could see, plus it's got headphone outputs and a couple of mix outputs. Like, you can really do a number of things with this one unit. So that's why I got it, because if you followed me, you know I've been piecing my stuff together. So this is a good way for me to, one, expand my inputs and outputs that I'm really only limited to because, I've got a couple pairs of speakers. I've got already a couple of preamps, not just the ones on the Motu, but a couple of others, 3 others. And, I've got other stuff. So, the amount of inputs that I'm using, it eats it up pretty quickly, So this gives me 8 channels. So basically 4 stereo pairs. And that's really what I intend to use it for, is to, fill this up with some modules I would use to, like if I had a mixer and I had 8 channels and they all had, let's say they all had preamps, and I would just run them through there, get that sound and get a nice, analog summing. And maybe I can fill it up with some other modules that are, maybe some saturation modules. I have my eye on a couple of things. I've got some here to get me started. I'll talk about those later in another video, but and then you'll see what I'm doing. I'll run some audio through it, and I guess we'll see what it sounds like, right? So I plan to go, because this will take, the ADAT, I plan to go out from the Motu into ADAT, and then because I've got that, I can run my channels accordingly, right? And Motu, you basically, with their AVB platform, you can route any channel to any source and back. It's pretty cool. And then with Reaper, I've got all of that flexibility. So, I mean, the possibilities are endless. But I plan to just kind of go out, run them through, mix them, send them back out to a 2-bus, and then just bring that audio feed in. I could certainly just run individual channels out and back, and I might do that. I don't know. Maybe I'll test it to see how it sounds if I do it that way versus summing them and then back in. It'll be a learning experience, but the point is I've got all the flexibility to do that. So I'm really excited about, putting this, through to the test and letting you know how it sounds. I already did the unboxing, but I kind of screwed up the video, so you'll have to kind of just do with me showing it off this way. The box is outside. I already threw it away. My candy that I got from Sweetwater is here. I don't like Bitto honey, and they sent that, but they gave me Laffy Taffy and a Tootsie Roll and a Fireball, so that's cool, and a peppermint. Cranborne Audio. Go check them out. Thanks for watching. Look at my other videos, and I'll see you next time because I have other stuff that I'll do. All right, later.